Alright, what's going on, guys? So in today's video, I'm going to be installing an ASD Hydro E-brake in the E36. So I already started. I'm just picking up the video here. So the first thing I did was just pull out the glove box and the center console. This was super simple. It was just about 4 screws on the glove box and a couple miscellaneous screws on the center console, and that trim just pops right out. So right now what I'm doing is I'm cutting the carpet to fit right where I'm going to be welding the plate on the transmission tunnel so I can mount the ASD Hydro. I have the carpet cut right in the front and I cut it right down the center here. I'm going to pull this out. I plan to have the Hydro mounted on the passenger side of the trans tunnel. I've seen some people mount it in between the steering wheel and the shifter, but unfortunately I personally don't like the way this feels. I think it's too close to the steering wheel and the windshield wipers. I just don't want to smash my hand on anything when I'm trying to grab it. So I'm going to grind off a little area on the transmission tunnel for where I plan to mount this. I'm going to pull this back. I'll probably put it somewhere in this area here, and I'll angle it slightly because although I'm working on the passenger side right now, I'm going to be grabbing it from this side and I want to be able to pull it on an angle towards me. Now what I have to do is just find a piece of flat stock. I'm probably going to use a piece of like 1/4-inch metal, and I'm going to weld it right to the trans tunnel here. Just going to have to cut it out to the size that's going to work for this. Just got 2 bolt holes here. I'll drill those 2 holes into the piece of flat stock before I weld it on. But it should be pretty straightforward. Today I'm just going to be mounting up the Hydro. Probably the next video I'm going to be routing all the lines. So this is going to be like a part 1 of a 2-part series on this install, just because the weather's kind of trash and this is my daily right now. So just so I have a little bit more room for when I'm welding, I'm just going to take this seat out. I've already got the 2 front nuts off, and then I'm just going to move the seat forward, get the 2 back bolts out, and I'll just take this whole seat out. Found this piece of sheet metal. It's maybe a little smaller than a 1/4-inch. So what I did was I took the E-brake, set it on here, and so it's flush on this side, and the blue tape is where I'm going to trim it to fit. And right down here, as you can see, so it's kind of on an angle. It's going to fit perfectly. So I'm going to get that cut out, and then that's the piece we're going to get welded in there. So I just finished cutting out the piece of metal I'm going to be using as the mount for the Hydro. So as you can see, the 2 mounting holes here, I replicated onto this plate, and I also cut it out to the shape of the Hydro so it doesn't look like it just welded on a piece of square flat stock. It's going to look a little bit better. So what I'm also going to do is, after this is welded into the car, because there's going to be no support on one side coming off the trans tunnel, I'm going to build a little brace that actually braces the side of this piece of flat stock down to the trans tunnel so it doesn't bend when I'm pulling on the Hydro. Because you're going to have a lot of leverage on this little piece. Whatever you weld to your trans tunnel, whether you bolt it or weld it, you should do that so you don't bend it. Now I'm going to grab the welder, bring it over here, grind the paint off where I'm going to weld, and I should be able to get this thing tacked up. I'll test fit the Hydro and see if I like it where it's going to be mounted. And then so I just put 1 tack on the plate and just loosely mounted the Hydro, and it sits exactly where I want it. If you remove it, you can see kind of where it is on the tunnel. Just grind it down. There's just 1 tack holding it. Like I said, because it overhangs like this, I'm gonna weld a brace from the end of this down to the trans tunnel so it's super strong, it doesn't bend. Now I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab the center console trim and I'm gonna see how much of it I'm gonna have to cut. I really don't want this to interfere with the window switches because they're mounted to the center console. So I'm gonna grab that. We'll see how it fits. So I have this thing all mocked up. As you can see, it's sitting off to the side now. It's actually gonna be sitting right about here. But that's okay. I personally could care less about cutting all this up. I just didn't want it to affect where the window switch is actually mounted to, so I should be clear. I'm actually thinking with the way this is looking, this piece may actually be able to be hidden underneath this trim. So I could get lucky and this could just cover what I'm cutting out right now. And that would probably be the best case scenario. It will look good when it's all done too. Oh, I'm in the process of welding up this brace. It's gonna go on the down from the trans tunnel up to the bracket. So I just realized I never finished up this part of the video, so I got it all back together. The mount is super strong on there. It's not going anywhere. It fits super nice. I like how the center console trim covers a portion of the cylinder. I think it looks pretty good. If you wanted to mount this portion of the center console, you can. You just have to cut out around it. I don't think I'm gonna put it on, but yeah, I got my fire extinguisher mounted back up here. It fits perfectly. Luckily, I was able to use the same holes and didn't need to make new holes in the trans tunnel for that. So if you guys like this video, drop it down in the comment section below. Give me a like, let me know what you think. Thanks for watching.